This is a full-on like grand tour kind of thing that they would do in like Africa over like an old sketchy bridge or something.
These long planks of wood that Tim had laying around worked really great to get the car off the trailer. It looked a little sketchy, and honestly we were kind of sketched out by it unloading the car, but it worked out good to make sure that the car was unloaded safe without scraping anything on the underside of the car on the steep ramp angle that this car trailer has.
That was a cold operation. Yeah. Well, here's a 2023 update of my dad's 1969 Camaro RS SS. Now it is into the stage of assembly. It's got an absolutely crazy big block in it with Lemons headers, Holley accessory drive, and a dry-sump system as well that's in the works. Electronic fuel injection. Inside, we've got new steering wheel, American Auto Wire wiring harness is being installed. I've got the headliner installed. We've got all the weather stripping put back in. Got the package tray back in there with some 6x9 speakers, as well as some tweeters in the pillars. Brakes are not installed on the car yet. It's got the Hydroform Detroit Speed front subframe under it, and a T56 Tremec Magnum transmission. And this is the fuel injection wiring. This thing is coming along excellently. Got to pull this engine out one last time to do the oil pan and some final assembly on the engine. Put the front clip on. To complete the build, we've purchased a 4-post lift and installed it in the garage here. The only catch is that we're waiting on a fitting for the hydraulics that wasn't included, so we can't actually use it yet, so it's kind of stuck in this state. Got a lot of parts to put under it still. There's a drive shaft to be installed, the fuel tank, the fuel system, the brake lines, all the brakes, master cylinder, clutch, you name it, it's all still got to be done. The car looks pretty on the outside, but there's a lot of mechanical that's not completed. We've got the biggest tires you can pretty much fit under this car. 3 1530 R18s in the front and then 335s in the back. Inside of here, we have the secret air conditioning system. I've put the vintage air heater control inside here to allow the coolant to open and close to the heater core. Then I've modified an original fan motor to allow the air conditioning lines to come out so that it appears original, but it'll be hidden by the fender. Here's a look at that blower motor that I've modified to put the air conditioning lines through. Basically, it's just an original blower motor that I took the fan blades off of, and then the ECU wiring harness and the air conditioning lines run through here. Instead of using the supplied vintage air plate that looks really ugly, now we retain that original look of the Camaro's heating box. Let's take a look at that computer. There's the Holley HP EFI ECU mounted to an aluminum bracket that's mounted to the firewall. The wiring's just roughed in right now and kind of getting it in place, but it's an American Auto Wire wiring harness, the classic update series that we all love to use. This car will be using the original gauges, so it's going to use a Dakota Digital mechanical speedometer converter from the electronic signal that the T56 Magnum puts out. This is how you rebuild heater controls for a 1969 Camaro without the AC. In this instance, we're going to replace one of the slider knobs. This panel has to be removed to be able to get to these sliders here. As you can see, this one was broken off. To get them off, you have to remove the faceplate. The faceplate has little crimped tabs that are bent on that hold it to this assembly here. So what I did is took a heat gun and warmed up the pot metal, and then I used a flathead screwdriver to bend the tabs away. Once you have the tabs bent away, this plastic piece sits between it and holds the sliders in place. It sits basically like this in there. To remove it, you can pull it out and then slide it off. The sliders slide in the plastic. Once you're done to that part, you use a flathead screwdriver to remove the clip that was holding the lever on. Then you install the new one by just installing it like that and putting the clip on. Super simple. Then it goes back together the way you took it apart. Recrimp the tabs on, or use some epoxy to glue this back on if it breaks off. On this instance, one of these tabs broke off. Then we'll rebuild this heater controls with the vintage air conversion sliders for the Gen 4 air conditioning in the 69 Camaro. Here's a quick video of putting the controls back in. So basically you'll take this piece, slide it back, get all the sliders aligned with it, and it will slide back into that. Now you can see we have the sliders put back into the plastic slide assembly. Just slide into those grooves. And now you'll just need to put the faceplate back on. Well, here's a little update on the Camaro. The gauge cluster is now reinstalled finally. We've got that American Auto Wire wiring harness all installed. These are actually the original gauges to the car. Tachometer is original. And there you can see we have the vintage air heating system controls installed. That's actually the original heater controls with the conversion adapter on the back of it for vintage air. They have little potentiometer sliders on there. Then there's a new faceplate they include with it that you put on there that says vintage air, and it tells you which knobs control what. Original speedometer, 97,000 miles on this 69 Camaro. Clock. Original ignition key. Astro ventilation vents now connected to the vintage air. We've got an AC dash pad that we're going to be putting on here that has the vintage air vent that goes in the center of it so that it looks original. It would look like an original AC car, but this car was not originally an AC car. Let's put the dash pad on here next and see how it looks. So here is the 4-post lift. It finally works. Next, I'm going to try and rearrange this really small garage so that we can get the Camaro onto the 4-post lift, potentially by sliding the lift forward and then trying to get the Camaro maybe pulled slightly outside and then onto the lift, and then roll the lift back over so that the Camaro is back in its place. So there's more room in here. As you can see, I got the lift raised up. The lift was non-functional for about 3 weeks since we assembled it because of a missing fitting that took forever to show up. So once we got that fitting finally, it works great. And go figure. Gotta have hydraulics. This 4-post lift is equipped with these wheels underneath so that once I lower it down, the wheels will actually pick up and raise the posts up, and then you can roll the lift around. Car rolled right onto the lift. We're gonna go ahead and move this lift back to kind of like a center area in the garage here so we can work on it. No problem at all. Well, we've got the same license plate that the car came with. Tags from 1984. I think it's only fitting that we put it back on. Because why not? Fully restored Camaro with a license plate from 1984. So we got a new radio for the 69 Camaro. It's an AM/FM original GM radio with this cool flip dial. It's actually a mono radio, but what I'm going to do is run all the mono into a 4-channel amp so that we have 4 speakers playing out of it. This radio came from eBay and actually is in super good condition. So we'll see how it sounds with an amplifier on it. But if nothing else, it fills the dash and it looks original, which is super cool. Well, we built up a nice little wiring harness for the original radio. It's actually a 1971 model year AM/FM radio. However, on the Camaros, luckily, it's still the exact same mounting flanges as used in the original 69 radio. The only difference is this wiring plug. What I went ahead and did is just soldered on a new wiring harness here to that plug so we can run it with the aftermarket harness. Let's get it installed. First, we can't forget to install a brand new antenna. That way this thing can actually pick up AM/FM signal. Well, this will be the first time the Camaro has ever had a radio installed in it. Originally, it didn't even come with one when we bought it. there was just nothing in the dash. So this original AM/FM Delco radio will be a great upgrade while keeping it looking totally stock. It's not like we're going for pure originality here, but this will be at least look the part. Classic cars. This aftermarket dash carrier is made slightly wrong, so the original tab will not fit into it. If I clip this tab off, this thing should just fit right in. Don't think this does much. There it goes. Radio shafts are offset on this so that this one is in a deeper position. The knobs are still in route, but that's what it looks like with the wood grain installed. It's all bolted in. Actually fits pretty well in the dash, all things considered. It's tight to the AC, but what can you do? So you can flip between AM and FM on this radio with the flip dial. Super cool. And it's push button. Not something you see every day in an aftermarket cheapo Chinese radio that you usually buy for these things.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button below and subscribe to the channel to keep us motivated to keep making awesome content just like this. Thanks for watching.